Awesome. Okay, day 5. Got the motor out. And we did find our lifter noise. None of them are really adjusted all that well, but we did find the obvious one, so we do have a collapsed lifter in here. So we will go. All right, guys, it's day number 6, work day number 6. We got the frame stripped down. It's loaded on a trailer and ready to go to sandblasting. So at this point, we're gonna go tomorrow morning to go get the car over to, or the frame over to sandblasting, along with probably a handful of parts from this pile here. Get the cross member, the upper A-arms, lower A-arms, motor mounts, all that stuff here. I'm gonna go ahead and probably take a few pieces of sheet metal as well. We'll try to get that ripped down. If not, I gotta make a couple trips anyway, so. But this is where we're at, so we're gonna go ahead and get the doors pulled apart. That way we can take those with and have those sandblasted. I don't think I'm gonna worry about the inside of them. We'll have them just leave that, but go ahead and get the outside sandblasted and get them ready for paint. Day number 6, work day number 6. So I think it's gonna be a short day today. Spent a lot of time on this thing already, so we'll see how far we get. All right, here we are, guys. We're in Salt Lake City, Utah. Just dropping off some body panels. The frame's getting baked right now, and we'll go pick that up here this afternoon, bring it on over here to get sandblasted as well, and then back over to powder coat. So yep, that's it. It's raining. It's all that bare metal in the back.
Inside, like, it's horrible. Well, Rick said he passed it because he was in Salt Lake today. So I think it's in here. Yeah, it's horrible.
Oh, you think it does, Ava? Awesome. Oh, so that. Oh, yeah, it'd be okay on your end. Yeah. Right now, I can't help. We just forked out $50 Look at the visibility. I mean, I can tell you some later, but not this month.
All right, guys, here we are. We got these back from sandblasting. They're down to metal. Got the frame out there. It's powder coated. We got that back. It's a cobalt blue. So here we are. The doors. They're also down to metal. So we're going to try to get these primer today as well. So that's where we're at here. So just here in a few minutes, we're going to go ahead and mix the primer up and keep going. Yeah. Those are the locks. You expect to hear that. Ah, the first lift. Hey YouTube, I'm back. It's been a couple months since I posted that last video on the Impala build. Unfortunately, I have bad news. I haven't done anything with the car. There's a reason for that. As you guys know, last time I got my bend pack in, my bend pack 2-post 10,000 pound lift. It came in. And obviously it takes up a ton of room in here, so we stopped everything and we put the lift in. You can see that behind me. Huge lift. I'm glad I went with this one. This thing's capable of picking up to you know, crew cab dually, diesel. But anyway, we stopped to put that in, and about a week later, me and the family went on vacation. While I was on vacation, about 4 days into it, I got hit with a back infection. The pain is unbearable. One of the worst experiences I've ever had. I've lost about 15 pounds. I lost about 20 there. I've gained about 5 of it back now. So we're to the point where things are getting better now. But I did spend about a month. I went on vacation, came back in a wheelchair. That's how bad it was. So I spent about a month. I spent about a week, a little bit over a week at the hospital. I admitted under life-threatening or altering conditions. They figured out what it was. It was a back infection. No idea. how it happened. They're thinking dental visit possibly, but it's hard to say. You know, we really can't prove something like that. But anyway, so that's what's been going on. I spent about 10 weeks with a PICC line. So that's absolutely miserable. But finally got that pulled about 2 weeks ago, and we're on the uphill now. We're getting there. I'm in physical therapy now, and I'm hoping here in about another 2 months, I should be back to work, and should be able to get back to working on my car as well. But as for right now, nothing's been touched. The only thing that you know, we did get our chrome back. We did. I told you guys that I wanted to send a chrome to Mexico, or a bunch of parts that get chromed in Mexico, and that actually happened. Because of the back infection, my father actually came down from Mexico, kind of to spend a little time with me and help me out here. You know, I had to use a walker to get around for about a month there. So because of that, my dad did come down from Mexico, and I loaded him up with all these parts that I had cleaned off already and sent him back, and he just came back again and he brought me the parts. So that's about the only good news that I do have as far as the Impala build. Haven't really done anything with it, so let me switch cameras real quick here and I'll show you guys. All right, YouTube, so here we are. The only thing that I've done is I needed to get the frame out of the way. The frame is filthy right now because we set it outside, and because we made this little jig to actually move the frame around. It's on casters, which absolutely works awesome. You know, it's going to take very little room. I can tear it apart if I need to, but it was actually my brother's idea, and it was just genius. We're able to move this thing around and get it out of the way now whenever we need to. So it's a lot easier than having to pick it up and move it. So we did that. Other than that, I think the only thing that we did get is you know, I did work on the Impala a little bit. This is what I use right here. I prefer to use this to kind of strip the car down because I don't have to run my air compressor for no reason. This little guy here, you can get it at Walmart. It's about 17 bucks. It works awesome. It is a DA. It is dual action. But it's cool because you can run down to Home Depot and they make all kinds of adapters for your vacuum cleaner that you can buy there. So what I did is I modified one to slip over this duct tape, and I can hook it up to my rigid vacuum cleaner and strip the paint off with minimal dust, because I could just attach it to my rigid shop vac and get after it. So this is about the only thing that we were able to do before I got sick. We got to this area right here. I started on this side of the car. This whole area right here had Bondo. It had body filler from about here to about here. It had a lot of Bondo. This whole thing had about a 1/4 inch, maybe even 5/16 buildup, and I don't know why. I think it was just amateur, you know, somebody who had no idea what to do. They just piled it on over an imperfection. But what I've done, I actually stripped it down to metal. This whole fender, I've stripped it down to metal. And this here, we just did a little bit of hammer and dolly work, basically. And what I did is when I primered the doors, the hood and the trunk, they're up in the loft, put away. But I went ahead and did this whole top real quick here, and I after I did the body work on it, I hit it with 2 good coats of epoxy primer. So we're actually ready to just a real light coat, a body filler here after I block it, just to kind of see where our low spots are, and we'll get that going. That's going to be a real quick fix. I'm not worried about that whatsoever. I mean, you can't really even tell. Yeah, so it may not even need body filler. We'll see when we get there. But this is about the only other thing that I was able to plug away at is I removed a lot of the paint out of the seams, stuff like that, because this to me, I don't like the way that it looks. It's okay from the factory, but this I'm actually gonna fill it with body filler. I don't like the way the seam shows right here, so we'll actually I'll probably throw just a tack here and there, just to make sure that we don't get any kind of movement ever, and then just grind that down and fill it all in anyway. Cosmetic reasons. No real reason for it other than just to make it look good. You know, we did start hitting this with a wire wheel. Try to get all this down to bare metal. And that's about as far as we got. The next step is to actually finish stripping the body, get it up in the air. All right, YouTube. So here we are. Like I just said just a few minutes ago, I did get hit with a back infection in August. I've been down since then. Pick line, walker, graduated to a cane. I'm able to walk now without any assistance. I still carry the cane just in case. I do need it on some days, but the car and everything is still right where we left. Anyway, that's about where we're at. But I do have an issue, and it's something that I'm looking for feedback. I'm looking for comments on this. The underneath of the car, I'm trying to figure out what I'm going to do with it. I don't want to go with an undercarriage with your typical rubberized undercarriage undercoating. It's just not going to look good. So I want something that looks a little better than that. There's a company, Steel It, I believe, is what the paint is. So I'm looking at doing something like that. But the only good news that I do have is that, like I'd mentioned to you guys before, when I got sick, my dad did come down from Mexico to kind of help me out. And when he went back, I actually loaded him up with some parts, and they got there. They got chromed, and they have made it back. I just got them back the other day, a couple days ago. So I'm happy with them. The fact that they're going to be used, you know, on a regular basis. You know, it looks good. It looks good. This is the rear end here. This is the housing. A flywheel cover. I know I could have probably just went out and bought one, but I know that the ones you buy dirt cheap, the chrome is not really a good quality. So I figured, what the hell, you know, for the price, I couldn't beat it. But I did get all these other parts back. That is about the only good news that I have right now. I got the original control arms, sent them off to get chromed. They look really good. You know, they're a little pitted. You know, there was a couple areas where they didn't quite get them, you know, perfect. But again, it's going to be a daily driver. This car is going to be used. You know, I'm not building a trailer queen, so I'm happy with it. I did send out the door hinges. This is one of the door hinges here, which I think is going to be really, you know, really cool. You open up the door, you're going to see more chrome. One of the spindles. Here's one of the motor mounts. We sent that out. This is the one that actually bolts onto the frame, so that's going to look good. It's going to have a really good contrast up against that blue, that cobalt blue frame that we went with. Hood hinges. Hood hinges, they actually pull the springs off. I got a picture where they pull the springs and they built a mechanism to stretch them and to chrome them. So that way the springs are actually chromed all the way through, not just what you're seeing there, which I think was really cool of them to actually go out of their way and do. One of the spindles here. Again, you know, it's not what I would call show quality chrome, but again, these are original parts. This is everything that came off of the car. So with that being said, I'm happy. You know, I think the parts look really good actually, and again, this car is going to be used. It's not going to be parked. So I got those back. I did do the backing plates, which I think might have been a mistake, so these might actually be up for sale. They're in perfect condition. There's no damage whatsoever on them. The backing plates for drum disc or for drum brakes, front and rear. I haven't really touched anything else. I did do the rear, the two lower trailing arms. Those were done as well. Here's the other two control arms here. So I'm happy with what I'm seeing here with what I got back. I'm ecstatic, to be honest with you. That's about the only news that I have, though, with the build. We're kind of at a standstill here. That's unfortunately all I have for you guys right now. I am in physical therapy now. They're talking 6-8 weeks, give or take, right around there, before I'm able to go back to work. And when that happens, I'll be able to start working on this guy again too. But winter's coming, so you know, and give me the opportunity to put the car up in the air and get after it. I got a couple of brackets that I got to replace underneath there, a couple supports underneath the seats. But from what I'm seeing, that's the only thing that needs to be done on the undercarriage of the car before it's sealed or painted, whatever I decide to do with it. But if you guys have any comments, any ideas on what to use on the undercarriage, I'm all ears. I want something that looks good, obviously, but I want something that's functional as well, and is gonna, you know, so I do want something that's functional as well. But for me, to be honest with you, I'm tempted to just go with a base coat, clear coat on the underneath as well. I think with like a gray, like a silver, maybe would give it a really good contrast with the frame. But we did have to build these dollies so I can move the frame around, which turned out really good actually. I can move the frame around as I need to around the garage, and still able to use the garage anyway. So that's about where we're at. I'm sure everybody was wondering where I've been, why I haven't done anything with it, because we hit this thing fast, and those were my intentions, were to continue at that rate, and it didn't happen. You know, it's life, I guess. So with that being said, we'll go ahead and finish this up, and that's that for now. And I will we'll do another video as soon as I'm up and running again. So thanks for tuning in, and we'll see you guys next time.